Welcome 239 Uncensored, everything Southwest Florida and beyond. And we are cranking up the music. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I know you're turning that up so that they can't hear me.
Yeah. So we got a little problem today. Our monitor is not on. So if you've got comments and questions, please just put them in there. And if we don't respond right back to them, you'll know why.
Well,
and
Diana can interpret.
Diana can throw them out there for us and let us know what's going on. So we have the lovely Shannon Livingston with us today. Shannon,
Tim,
we're always doing these lives. We got a lot to talk about.
there's so much going on.
Yeah, we have a bunch of things. You brought some hair in? Where's your hair?
I do. I have my hair in about. Are you going to turn that freaking
No,
music down? That
only
is so
you
annoying.
and I can hear it. So you just have to talk over it.
Where did I put my purse?
Your hair is all jacked up. So yeah, Shannon has got hair.
So yeah, I have
to show us, to demonstrate. I don't understand this whole hair thing. You buy hair and you put it in your head.
Well, yeah, I don't. I pay somebody to do that. So whenever I show up with different hair and it's different lengths and colors and all of that, it's because half of it is fake. And you like the colors. You like when I have the blue.
Yeah. I like the blue.
That.
I like that. Now, what's something like that in the bag cost? And we're not talking about weed.
Right.
What's that?
But
something
this
like
is
that.
what my life has come to. I used to look at this would be me with different types of weed going around, but now it's hair in these Ziploc bags.
You're really losing it.
This is my evolution as a person.
You used to be cool.
Now.
You used to be cool. Now
Yeah,
you're running around with
I'm an
hair.
old lady running around with my hair in a bag.
Exactly.
No, and so they have these extensions are all the thing now. I really think you should get some. But extensions are not just for length, that's for volume or color or whatever. So they have these little colored things, and then there are bands on the top, and you use surgical tape. And so you take them and you sandwich real hair between it. So like the blue.
Be careful
ones,
with that stuff. I'm told
they're
that's
all over the
expensive as
place.
hell.
Oh my gosh, it's so expensive. So so
What's
to buy a colored pack with all of the colors together, that depending on the quality, it's going to cost you $500.
What the?
At least $500 to
$500?
a couple grand maybe, or just for the.
You go to Spencer Gifts and buy that shit for nothing.
But that's why I show up with it really long, because it's so expensive. Even though it looks ridiculous, I'm too cheap to cut it off. I got to get my money's worth out of the length before we cut it. But so it has two pieces, and then you put surgical tape in the middle there. So you sandwich your real hair between it, and then you tape it in.
So would that be one thing you'd put in, or where you cut that in half?
Oh yeah, so this is just one piece that would go in there.
Oh, okay.
And then it stays in.
And that's $500?
Well, for all of the color pieces together, yeah. Well, and then every month you have to have them adjusted because your hair grows out. So you have to pay somebody to rip them apart, which pulls out some of your hair, but not a lot. But it doesn't feel good. And then
call me next time. Don't spend fucking $500.
And then they have to do your hair, and then they have to, move the pieces back up, and then you go through that again.
You give me $300, I'll do it for you.
But I'm going to Vegas, and so I have these little tinsel things, and I'm trying to get Diana to put them in my hair and her hair so that we can twin.
Yeah, well, I think that's
good. And then you should do some too in your hair. I bet your pubic hair is longer than your real hair, because you keep getting your real hair cut off. And you're an older man, so I bet your pubes are pretty long now.
There goes Shannon
right?
again. There goes Shannon. I'm
Show us, Tim.
I'm perfectly taken care of. I'm perfectly taken care of. We take care of our. I take care of. I take care of myself. Put it that way. Put it that way.
Do you get those little kits? Those little ball skeeping kits?
No.
That?
Shit. No.
The ball polishing kits, like golf, but for your.
I just take candle wax and it's all over.
Have you ever had hot candle wax on your balls?
No.
Is that on your bucket list?
No. But my mother's watching. But
there's a reason you're bringing it up. You're the one approaching these topics, not me.
We talked about hair, and then somehow it goes into
hair and balls go together. That makes a lot of sense.
Hair. So are you gonna do that? Are you gonna have that in Vegas?
So I don't know. I have one now because that's all I've had the energy to do. We'll see. But Vegas is the work trip, so
yeah,
I see one. I see one. I'm gonna have well,
shiny.
and it's supposed to curl, but it doesn't. So
shiny.
I'll probably just have to yank it out.
Vegas.
But this is my problem. This is what I spend all my money and time on, because it's like an addiction now. It's like crack in these bags. It's hair crack.
To me, it's like $500, but we can get. Let me go on Amazon and see what I can find.
For the adjustment, so you pay for your hair to be done every month, but then you pay for the.
So it looks to me like it's just basically Velcro sandwiches between your hair.
But with glue, with surgical tape.
because it'll come out if you.
But you
if
can also
don't?
get them sewn in. You can get,
Okay.
there are different ways to do it. This is one of the more economical ways to do it.
I'm in the wrong business.
I know. This is why
I'm in the
my
wrong business.
my son thinks I'm crazy and doesn't want to be my roommate. He's afraid we're going to be homeless someday because I'm going to spend all my money on hair.
Yeah, no shit. Sounds like it. Sounds like.
You know what else I would spend money on?
Yeah, I know. Speaking of that,
here comes the segue.
Speaking of that, yeah. Speaking about that, I'm from Maine, but from my understanding, Maine could legalize magic mushrooms.
Yes.
To treat depression.
It's psilocybin is the
Yeah.
active ingredient that is in mushrooms that can be hallucinogenic, but people have had really good luck with it can
microdose
with microdosing, but sometimes they have to have a reset dose, and so they actually have to force themselves to take a dose that is high enough to make them hallucinate or have that trip experience, which is about like 3.5 milligrams, I would say, maybe to 7 milligrams, depending on who you are. And so if you're going to microdose, then you're going to start at 2 or 3 milligrams. So you're not really going to feel that, but it has been shown to really help with anxiety, depression, PTSD, and it's actually safer than cannabis. When you look at it,
Shannon found something safer than cannabis. I mean,
as much
Shannon,
as I love cannabis.
Yeah, Shannon. I mean, she,
but cannabis loves me back.
I guess that's. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're crack would love you back too.
My crack does love me back. Yeah. Look at my hair.
Crack will love you back too, but that means good for you.
I have some on my head. I have some in the bag.
So I texted Shannon, our messenger, this morning on this, and then I go, yeah, I'll just stick to my, bourbon or whatever. She goes, oh, that's just poison.
Oh, I said alcohol is poison.
Yeah, well,
and mushrooms are medicine.
Yeah, everything in its quantities is
to be
not
fair,
good.
Alcohol is used medicinally as well. It's not a great idea, but I do know a lot of people that use it to go to sleep or for pain or whatever.
And people always throw up that, alcohol's, there's maybe, I get it. There's alcohol abuse. There's.
Okay, but here's the issue I have with you, because we do have different viewpoints. This is one of the issues, I guess, that I have.
One of the issues. Yeah. One of the issues.
So if I say that I am going to have a smoke before I go into a restaurant or whatever, you're like, oh, you're going to be out driving around altered, and you get all crazy. And I say, no, I wouldn't do that. Where if somebody says they're going to go to happy hour or dinner where people have wine or whatever, we don't automatically go, oh, you're going to be driving around all fucked up. So why do you, as an alcohol consumer, why are you granted that judicious ability, but as a cannabis consumer, you just assume that I'm going to be too altered to make a good decision?
I think that you, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that you probably take cannabis medicinally, right?
I do.
So
I've also used it recreationally.
Right. So
though.
I think if it's taken that way, just like if I go have 2 drinks, I'm pretty certain of the outcome of 2 drinks. Not saying it's a good idea to drive, but if I go,
because we know our dose.
If you fucking sit up and smoke dope and you're like, you take 1 hit and you're whacked, you could be whacked for 6 hours.
But that is a good reason to have a legal program, so that I know exactly how much THC is in there, because I can smoke and smoke and smoke, and if I have a high amount of CBD, I'm not going to get high. So it depends on the chemical components of the actual flower or extract or whatever. It's not all cannabis gets you high.
I just think that when you, and we won't get to it, but when you go from meeting to meeting and you partake,
and I have a smoke.
Yeah, between meetings, it's like me driving down the road with the beer.
But before a creative meeting, that should be mandatory. I think you should smoke before a creative meeting.
Yeah, well,
we'd be much more
I probably need to drink a little bit more.
But yeah, really, think about it. Just if I say I'm going to smoke, or if somebody's a cannabis patient, people automatically think that we're driving around fucked up. And the studies have also shown that not only do cannabis drivers drive better, but that also that drive better.
You don't drive better if you're on freaking smoking weed.
They think they do.
You might be a little bit less carefree.
Slow down. No, because you're not. You're more careful. You slow down. You may be a problem by being in the fast lane. But the biggest thing is that you do not inhibit your ability to make good decisions by smoking cannabis or ingesting cannabis, and you do with alcohol. So after 3 drinks of alcohol, you lose your ability to think, am I okay to drive? Because you think, yeah, I'm great, I can drive. Where with cannabis, you're like, I'm a little high, I should not drive.
Every time you take 5 steps forward, and I'm with you. You take 14 back.
That's all right. I can shot with you all day long.
I mean,
do we have a comment?
I think what we found out about this. I think what we found out about this is you smoke weed and you're okay, and you can actually drive better.
Yes.
It's fucking unbelievable.
Thank you for paying attention to what I'm saying. And then pretty soon I'm going to integrate some mushrooms.
Oh yeah,
some psilocybin into that.
Next time,
but I'll know my dose.
Next time you visit Maine, or we happen to go up there, you go with us, and we can just get these magic mushrooms.
You know they have them here. Also, I don't have to.
Well, I'm sure they
have
do.
them in Florida.
You got to go out in the field and get them.
From the cow patties.
Yeah, Yeah.
And people also take those styrofoam bowls and they flip them over and they put it over the fresh. It has to be the fresh cow patty, and then put a straw in it.
That's shit.
And they inhale that to get high. Can't you just go buy the whipped cream like other teenagers?
We know what Shannon's doing tonight. She's going out in the shit field.
Well, I grew up in a place where we had like farms and 20 minutes south and gangs in the city 20 minutes north. So
yeah,
I heard about all the shit.
You gotta kind of like do what you got to do
Cow
on those
poop,
nights.
And then people in the city were smoking crack. Everybody was doing everything. So a little weed doesn't look so bad, does it?
So we all know why we have Shannon on here. She's very entertaining. She's got a lot of information, and she goes from hair to crack to magic mushrooms. Just like that. Now, what else we got going on?
It all makes sense.
Last podcast last live, we had a little story about some gunplay.
Well, so yeah, people in their cars with guns seems to be a recurring theme. Now, as high as I may ever get, I would not just pick a gun knowingly out of a bag. So the story goes that this couple is driving down the interstate, I believe, and
we have a shot of that.
A video.
Yeah, I think we just got a still photo of it.
And
interstate.
So they're going down the interstate, and there was a bag. It just said a bag on the floorboard, and so she reaches in. Clearly, you can feel a gun. I mean, they're heavy. It's what you're picking up.
Yeah.
But she pulled it out and must have had her finger on the trigger and shot herself, like in the leg. And so he had to take her into the ER and get her all fixed up because she's out there shooting herself. And the last guy, he was discharging his weapon multiple times within his vehicle and shot the hell out of his car. I wonder where the bullet ended up. If that guy also, if he was like, I gotta dump this bitch, man. Like my whole night was at the ER, got bullet holes in my car.
It's crazy. It's like the Wild Wild West in Florida, though. I will tell you that. And some people don't understand. Like, you pull out a Glock, okay?
Yeah,
a lot of people think there's no safety. There technically is, but it's part of the finger, right? So when your finger pulls back on it, and people will drop the magazine thinking it's empty. Well, it's not. It's got a round. It's got a round chambered in it.
Yeah.
And that we've had people that we went out to those cases, and they put the gun to the head to be, throwing a joke and pull the trigger, and they're dead.
But even if I know that weapon doesn't have anything in it, I'm still not pointing it at somebody. I'm still not putting it up to my head.
Rule number 1, never point a gun at anything you would not intend to shoot.
Right. No matter if it has a bullet or not.
Yes.
Because
you never know.
Never know.
When we go to the range and train, we have our buddy triple check.
Right.
Open it up, check.
Right.
Check
but
again.
Even then, you have no reason
to point at anybody else.
Point it at somebody.
Paper
That is not how we treat a gun.
Check just to point at paper targets.
Right.
Because
but I think that's part of the problem is this culture of it's funny to point a gun or hold it sideways or that's not how we treat a firearm.
Never point a gun at something you don't intend to shoot. I think. And
don't date stupid women and let them go through your shit because they're going to pull out your gun and somebody's getting shot.
Yeah, no, not a good idea. And we've had deputies that have had company over at their house, and not necessarily kids, and they're friends, and they get the gun out, and for some reason they think it's okay to pull the fucking trigger and shoot through the floor of, a house.
I know people
or a trailer.
People are dumb, even if they pass the whole concealed carry thing, because most of that is not about even handling the firearm that well. That comes with practice.
The legalities of the law and when you should carry it and how you should carry it and all that.
And that it's not really so much about handling it. I mean, you have to go and demonstrate that you're proficient, but that just means you can pull the trigger.
Yeah, and we've had this discussion before. What's your thought of real estate agents or anybody who's in a business and carrying a handgun with them.
So you and I actually have a mutual friend. I won't say who it is by name, that is a realtor, and she has a stalker at this point. And at first she wasn't real concerned, but he's been persistent. And first thing I said, you need to carry. And it's not just because this guy has been regularly harassing her. So it seems, either he's very off or he's focused, and that's not a good thing, right? Like, I'm sure that you've seen it. It's
Right.
not one time he's focused on her.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
That's not good. And so even if he is not going to do anything, having somebody stalk you like that, and every time you have to go to Publix, looking over your shoulder and worrying if somebody's following you, if they see you, if you're in danger, to me, I just want her to feel comfortable by having that firearm. And I said the same thing to her, don't just get the CCW, go and get training. You have to know how to pull that. And when you're stressed, you have to know how to pull it in the dark, on your nightstand. That should be muscle memory. And I think that's where we really fail too. We get legal, but we don't get trained.
Yeah. Training is the key. Yeah. I think, and both you and I agree on
repetition.
That. Yeah. And then the whole nightstand thing is good if you fucking wake up when he walks in. But if he or she knows where your gun is, it's on the nightstand, they get to it first, you're pretty much screwed.
So where do you put your gun when you sleep? Do you not want to give
if
that
I
away?
would tell people in the
You strap
podcast,
it to your ankle under your jammies.
I might, I might have it hidden places that you'll never find.
Yeah, but
the big thing is, would I find it?
Real estate, it has been a dangerous profession, because they're in houses anyway. But now we're seeing another layer to that, because they really are having to market themselves online.
Yeah.
So the more visible you are, the more of a target you can be. So, you're just trying to build your business and educate people on the market or whatever, same as me being here with you. This is a lot of fun, but I know that it invites
stalkers.
It invites people that I don't want to be invited. And so I have started to carry more consistently the more media that I do.
Yeah.
That's a sad trade-off.
Yeah. And I don't have to worry about stalkers because I'm not all that. But if I
don't know. Most of our consistent viewers are female, and they do ask you questions.
And I teach that Safety Matters class, which is the National Association of Realtors. And one of the things in there is says, listen, be careful of the types of pictures you post
on your. Don't put your home address in there.
Yeah, home address,
your
and
license plate,
your cleavage hanging out, and all that stuff on your.
If that sells a house, come on.
Well, I guess you are
for throw a home warranty on there.
Shannon says she's for sale. Basically,
I'll show you my cleavage.
Basically,
I'm just throwing the warranty on it.
Right,
I'm not even on commission at this point, so you get no cleavage out of me.
There you go.
If I was on commission, you would see them all day long.
Yeah, all the way around.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah. Couple cool things, right? When we get real busy, often we get some cool stories about waitresses that get compensated or they get tipped really good.
It's always, I love this upcoming story because it's always the people that are really in need themselves. I think it's just empathy. They know what it's like to struggle. And so they want to help somebody else. They want other people to feel appreciated. So this waitress knew that these firefighters had been out fighting for quite a long period of time, and that this was going to be their first meal and their first sit down experience. And so she wanted to buy their meal for them. And she did, and wrote them a lovely note and thanked them. And they were so touched. They found her, I believe, on Facebook later. Thank goodness for Facebook. And they were able to then kind of get to know her and realize that she herself was in a position of need, that her father required a vehicle that was wheelchair accessible, and she needed to raise funds for that. And so they all banded together and helped to get her dad a van. So very cool story about, she had no expectation of anything coming back to her. She was probably not in a financial position to buy meals for other people. But, to me, that is true charity, when you are willing to sacrifice yourself to give something to someone else. So I love stories like this. Not everybody in the world is a drunken asshole making planes stop from where they're supposed to be going, which really, I'm not looking forward to Sunday's flight, because I have to be masked up the whole time and everybody's flying around drunk and angry now.
Yeah. And people always have something to say, but no, this story is fantastic. And I believe she, she wrote like a really nice note, and just, I like the whole thing, where people are helping other people. And like you said, I think the people that are sometimes in really hard need for themselves notice other people's needs or when to say something to somebody and make them feel better. I think it's important.
And I love this story that, she did get the help that she needed for him. But usually we see these people that are helped. They are the helpers. Then they go forward. The Make-A-Wish kids that have their wish granted. If they do all right, then they like to pay it forward when they're older, and they fund those wishes. So it's always people that have been helped or need help that are trying to help others.
Yeah, it definitely impacts us. But I will say that when I was in law enforcement, that I would go in the restaurants, and sometimes people would leave and they'd buy us a meal. And I'm saying to myself, like, listen, I'm doing okay. Thank you very much. But a lot of times it'll be like, they didn't want to be acknowledged. They just didn't want it. They just wanted to help. And it's a really neat feeling to do that. That's why when I do that, I always give the waitress so if the meal was a certain amount, I'd give the waitress a tip on the amount that was given to me. Right. That's how we do it.
Oh, well, that's nice. Yeah. Now, I'll buy a meal, not in a fancy restaurant, but I'll buy a meal for veterans when I see like the older guys in the hats and it shows that they're a Vietnam vet.
Yeah, there's some nice.
Then I'll buy their meal for them, and I always do so anonymously because those guys are really proud and I don't want to put them in a position of even knowing. I think it's just better that way. However, I did see our friend Jim Bloom out one time at Poached over here, and I bought him lunch, and I made sure that he knew it was me so I could hold that over him. I mean, this has been like 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm still talking about it. So pretty happy with that.
Well, and the funny thing is, when I run into Jim Bloom, he always mentions you. So he must have been impressionable.
Oh, well, I was supposed to have lunch with his beautiful wife yesterday, and she was busy taking care of family, and she's just always busy doing stuff down there on Fifth Avenue, and she has that new office / studio down there for her photography.
Yeah, Sammy's awesome. Yeah, she does a great job.
So I'll never see her again, but she's a lovely friend.
It should be busy. No, that's good. So there's a lot of things going on, and
not everybody's doing good stuff like Sam and Jim Bloom. Yeah. There are some assholes, and the biggest asshole in Naples, of course, is this River Rosenquist guy that stuck his hand into the tiger enclosure at the Naples Zoo and forced the deputy into the position of having to shoot the tiger, which then caused his death. And so we're getting more and more details on this. And the nurse that treated him that evening, I don't even want to call him a victim, that treated the patient, River, that evening, said that he smelled of alcohol. So is this a surprise to you? Do you think we're going to see other things in the tox screen? I think he's going to have all kinds of shit in there.
We got a little inside information, but nothing overly thrilling. But the alcohol thing does surprise me, but he probably, if he's putting his hand in the cage, he's probably not, thinking clearly. He's probably like doped up on cannabis or something, or I just threw that out there.
At least you're calling it cannabis now. We're making baby steps. I'm like, victory.
I just threw that on Shannon. But the alcohol, right? Yeah. So he's probably not thinking clearly.
Right. See,
thinking it was a hell of an idea.
People that are high don't go and fuck with tigers.
Yeah, she didn't say he reeked.
Well, but so something interesting that I think I read, I don't think I saw it, was also that there was a key in his possession that they thought may have been part of the zoo's enclosure key, because the zoo went under a very intense investigation to make sure that this was a safe place. And they actually have exceeded the regulations in the height of the enclosure and the safety precautions that they have. So there were some questions about how this guy even got as far as he did to be that close to the animal. And, he may have gone as far as swiping the key and, not just going over a fence. And I want to know, was this his first time? Or had he done this with other animals or with this animal? What is this guy doing out there?
I don't know factually, but I've heard that he's done this is like something he's been doing for a while or had done before.
Molesting the animals?
Maybe. But I will say, though, like to back up your claims, the Naples Zoo, they've been phenomenal through the whole thing. They've supported the deputy
raised
$40,000 last I knew to try to figure out
to send to the
protection for
those tigers.
Yeah.
So do you think I was talking about this with some friends last night that came over. Two of the few friends that I have left. It seems like the better I get to know people, the less I like them. But I like this couple. So we were talking about the tiger thing and how to improve. What do we learn from this, right? It's not just punish this guy for being an idiot. How do we make sure this doesn't happen again? So, I'm anti-zoo, but as long as we have these zoos, because it's going to take decades to phase them out. So as long as we have them, we are going to have cleaning crews that are going to be in there, or employees that, maybe aren't, that have lesser jobs, let's say, in the chain of command that shouldn't be anywhere near these enclosures. So do you think putting body cams on all of the employees and all of the contractors that come into the zoo, would that be a good solution?
Yeah, that's a possibility. I mean, I think probably would be the best, and I'm not sure if Naples Zoo had it, but some type of camera on the actual enclosure that alerts when but the problem is like, okay, I'm prancing around. I've got my little snack I want to feed the tiger, and I go up and I put my hand in there. By the time somebody gets the alert, somebody can respond. Somebody can do something. I'm thinking
maybe a body cam on each employee or contractor that then, gets fed into security. So you see that asshole walking up toward the enclosure. You see them unlocking it.
Or we could implant them with a body camera. So we could,
put it into their forehead.
Yeah, put it in their forehead.
If you're a janitor, we're going to experiment on you.
Yes.
Society doesn't give a shit. You're keeping things going, but society thinks you're nothing.
Shannon. Yeah, no. I think that's going to come down to something like that, or some sort of tracker.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know what the answer is. Anytime you have a human element involved, you're going to have somebody that's going to.
But we have so much technology now. I think there are ways.
How about something that'll electrocute them if they get too close?
So we could put a shock collar on them, like the dogs.
Yeah. But I think
you could also do it if they just did a bad job. Like if the mirror was streaky after they cleaned it, you just give them a couple shocks.
Yeah. Or, if they walk in a certain spot, you just, and then every now and then, if you think they're like sleeping or using their iPhone or,
or just trying to get that hourly wage. They're just milking it and they've got other things to do. Just give them a little shock.
I think that could be for any job, whether you're making millions or whether you're making $5 an hour.
So all those training videos are bullshit.
Yeah,
we just need shock
collars. Yeah.
One?
I wish I had a Diana cam, because every time, she doesn't do that. I actually have something put in the keyboard. If there's no keyboard strokes after a certain period of time, it just.
What was that study? Was it the Stanford study where they it was a psychological study where they gave people control over the electrical current, and some people would really enjoy cranking it up. Yeah. That would probably be me.
Yeah. Shannon be like,
leave the tigers alone, but let me fry these people.
Yeah. So I'm trying to read.
We have comments and suggestions.
People must obey the law. That's what my mom wrote on there. People got to obey that. We know that. Yeah. So we want people to obey the law. I think that's what.
Yeah, but they don't. They need babysitters.
Don't do. I mean, you think we could trust in people to obey the law, obey the rules? We'd be.
I don't even obey the laws, and I'm trying to be a good person every day.
Shit. Watch out for Shannon. I won't tell you what she drives, but watch out.
Everybody
she's driving around. Now we have a couple events in town. We have the Cars on Fifth, I believe, this weekend. That's a big event. Big event. And
now I don't get excited over cars. Do you? You like them though?
I like them. I used to be really a big car guy, a big car nut, but I'm kind of like, I've had some pretty cool cars in the past. So now I'm kind of just. Yeah. I like something that I can feel comfortable in and ride in it. And,
do all my groceries fit in here?
Yeah. I mean, I've got to sling it on real estate signs.
Right.
I've got to go move boxes from this place to that. And I've got to be able to take my gear with me if we're going to do something like that. So I used to be a real big car guy, go fast and all that stuff.
I remember the first Mercedes that I bought. I was in real estate actually, and it was just such a big milestone for me. Growing up in Grandview, Missouri, you didn't see a lot of Mercedes, and so and it was a baby Benz. It was just a little C-Class, but I loved that car. But maybe 2 weeks later, I thought, this is ridiculous. Like it didn't take me long to mature.
Was it a two-seater or was it? Could you get in the back? Just smaller in the back.
I was in real estate, right? But it was what I could afford at the time. And so, I've had other luxury cars along the way, not a lot that I have purchased. And so now I'm loving pickup trucks and Jeeps and anything that's
Practical.
free and practical. And you can get the oil changed for, less than $500. That's what I like.
Yeah. So the cars on Fifth is really good though. It's unbelievable. You got older cars, newer cars, you got everything. And in Naples, like you said, it takes a pretty damn nice car for people to even look up at the car.
Don't come down here from Ohio or Missouri with your Corvette or your Mercedes S-Class that's 7 years old and think you're going to impress somebody.
Absolutely.
People are going to think you're a valet.
Nobody.
Right.
Yeah,
they don't
nobody.
care.
Yeah.
But even the Lamborghinis are not that impressive, right? We see them so much. I mean, if you're into cars, it might be cool to look at it, but it's just not. There's so much money here that it's an equalizer. And at least for me, I feel like I'm not impressed by money like I was in a town that didn't have any.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Once you're around it, you're like, that guy has more money and he's nicer to me. So not impressed.
Or this guy is less money and he's much nicer than the guy with the money.
Usually that is the case.
Usually the case. Yeah. So, but no, it's always a lot of good things. And
what are you going to do this weekend?
Actually, this weekend I got a pretty easy weekend. When I say easy, I just don't have a lot scheduled.
Yeah, easy for you.
But I'll be I'm getting together a class because as you know, I teach real estate license. Get your license through us. So I'm putting together a cram class because I found that there's a little bit of people finish the class, the required class, and there's a little bit of a gap that we need to bridge between finishing the class and taking the state test.
Do you feel like people get nervous about the test?
They do.
So they put it off, and by that time it's rusty a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen a lot of that.
A lot of anxiety, and they're like, when am I going to be ready? But the reality is probably 2 or 3 weeks of studying before the test.
As soon as you can.
So what I want to try to do is I'm putting together a nice cram course. I have licensees from all over the state, so get them comfortable, and it's going to be going over some basic stuff, but try to give you some triggers that you will remember when the test and the question come up on the test. And we have some access to people have taken the test, we've had some feedback from them, what's currently on the test, that type of thing. So I'm putting together that program. I'm really excited about that. I think it's going to be a good thing because obviously if you take your basic class here at Florida Pro Real Estate Academy, then we'll, swing you into that course at a much discounted rate.
What would really make them learn better, especially with that cram class, is the shot collar.
The shot collar.
so we
are. Yeah.
Especially the math. Yeah. The good shot.
And that's another thing too, is the math is, so there's only 10 problems on the
people are
state
always
exam.
afraid of the math.
So let's spend most of our time on the other 90, and then let's do some videos to show you the math problems that you're going to see.
Just
and then
the formula, just get the formula down.
Yeah. And then all you do is just use the numbers they're giving you. And I've got a pretty good system to do that. So hopefully we can do that.
That is a really good idea because you're right on. People do take the class and then they get nervous about the test, and then it just kind of gets put off, and then it's not fresh anymore.
Yeah. I had one guy that you have basically when you apply, you have a 2-year window to get after you complete your course. And he waited till the Friday before, and he took the test on the Friday. 2 years had gone by, and he passed it. So, people do wait till last minute, but I think having some sort of a cram class, I think will really help them a lot. So
you're always building value into your businesses. That's
it's fun. It's fun. If I look at it like this, if it's not, if it's fun, it's not work, but I also enjoy to try to, make things better. And I've got Miss Diana helping me on that as well. So we're looking forward to, filling up those classes.
Well, she's going to put those tinsel extensions in her hair. And so she'll be helping you and looking all Vegas and glamorous at the same time.
That's it. Anything else to add?
No.
Wrap it up for the day.
That is it. Let's wrap it up.
Have fun in Vegas. Be safe. Be careful.
I will. I'll be in good hands.
Come back COVID free, and we'll be happy to have you on Monday next week. We're kind of taking a break. Yeah.
Yeah. So Friday.
Here, call in. Worst case, or next Friday we'll be here for sure.
All
right.
I'll see what celebrities are there.
Yeah.
I saw some of my friends hanging out with Mike Tyson last night.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
He lives there.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
But trying to interview him, I don't know what he would say. I don't know if he's answering the question or not.
Hey, my name Mike Tyson. I beat the shit out of you.
Is that how he talks? Kind of.
I know. It's so bad.
All right, 239 Uncensored, everything Southwest Florida and beyond. And we are out, Shannon.
Ow.